Greetings everybody, greetings everybody. My name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Moge. Welcome to Moge. This is the latest video here on Moge. Let's go. So, to state my full name, Kabru is calling in my ancestors. My full name is Chimaoge NKWOORIE. Okay, it's the metaphysically correct one, alright? My given name is Chimaoge. My forename is Moge. My full government name is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. And another name for me based on the history of my lineages is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibenwuku. And I also use the name NKWOORIE, 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 to make music. Alright, let's pray properly. Call in all my ancestors, all of my relatives who passed away, and all other good spirits. Pray for the success of this video and the success of you, my audience. Pray for the success of the idea behind this video, as well as the art piece it highlights, and the success of myself. Let's go. So the title of this video is, I am currently studying the so-called Virgo and Virgo season, Venus Things Update. I am currently studying the so-called Virgo and Virgo season, Venus Things Update. Now, the purpose of this video is to highlight the central art piece and the idea behind it. Let's get to the art piece. So the art piece, which is available for purchase on the Chimaoge's Comments Patreon, because for now that's where Moge's art is housed, is we are in so-called Virgo season. We are in so-called Virgo season. I made the art piece maybe a couple weeks ago, and as I'm recording this now, we're still in Virgo season, or what is so-called Virgo season. Because again, apparently the name should be different. I'm still studying it, as I'm saying. Anyway, what is the inspiration for the art piece? One, a message from my ancestors. I got a message from my ancestors saying I should look into Virgo, the Virgo, so-called Virgo season, and studying it. So I made the art piece to talk about that. And then also the start of so-called Virgo season, the start of so-called Virgo season. The so-called Virgo season, which is part of what is commonly referred to as astrology now, which is really a subset of what should be called the things of Oshun, or the things of Venus, which is why this is a Venus Things Update. Okay, I want to popularize that term. Anyway, it begins on about August 23rd and ends on September 22nd. Right now it's about September 19th as I'm recording this part of the video. Anyway, that was the inspiration. Now, as for what is visible in the art itself, one, you can see the written symbol for the so-called Virgo. The written symbol for the so-called Virgo. It's similar to what most people call an M, that letter, but it has some other things on it. I just use the emoji you can see on iPhone version of it. And two, you could see a being known as Ani. Now, Ani is a being I'm learning more about. That being is a person who's central to a Madioha. You could name the whole of a Madioha Ani. And other names for Ani are also Pain and Stop, and also the father of the soil. And Ani is the father of the woman that is commonly referred to as Virgo. Again, that's not actually her name, but that's what it should be. And so this season can also be called Ani's season, the season of pain. Okay, pain has good and bad elements, because he also rules over this season. So anyway, Ani is visible in the form of the animal. Two animals that are commonly called crabs that are highlighted in red. Those two are Ani. Okay, so that's what you can see in the art itself. It's taking a little stretch there. So, here are my sources. First, I will give two sources I use to come to know about this information. And then I'll give two sources that you can go at to look at this information for yourself. So first, one source's information was myself. And that's something I'll go into more in the future, probably in Chimaoge's comments first. But yourself, which is a part of your overall being, can be a source of information. Myself is particularly good, so but then second, also my knowledge of Venus things, Again, when I'm saying Venus things, I'm referring to the overall body of really things that what we call astrology is a subset of. I've studied it extensively. So here are some places that you can go to find verification for what I'm saying. First, prayer. You can pray and get information from different parts of your being and other people. Because again, those who are not alive are still people. And then second, you can actually look at nature, because a lot of information you can get from observing nature will also tell you about this season. Okay, now here are some things to do based upon the implications of the ideas and information that the art conveys. So first, you should look at your home and comfort very well. Look at your home and comfort very well during this so-called Virgo season, and then prepare to do the same in the future one, because this time can challenge your home and comfort, which are the same thing. And then secondly, do not strain to work during this season. Do not strain to work during this season. Generally speaking, you should not do that, but especially don't do it during the so-called Virgo season. So keep that in mind for the rest of this season. If this video gets released before the end of the season, giving myself some leeway, but especially keep it in mind for the next Virgo season. Okay, and then here's a bonus piece of information for higher development. Play multiple sports that you enjoy. Play multiple sports that you enjoy. Okay, let's close it out, and then I'll take a break before I record the other part of the video where I say this information again so that it clicks. Again, another bonus piece of information. Do not do too many things outside when the weather is cold. Do not do too many things outside when the weather is cold. You can get sick. Now, again, a reminder of the name of this video. It is called I Am Currently Studying the So-Called Virgo and Virgo Season Venus Things Update. Let's pray again. Not double, just doubling up on the first prayer. That counts. Again, my name once again is Chimaoge. I also go by Moge. My full name is Chimaoge NKWOORIE. Chimaoge is my given name. Moge is my forename. My full government name is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. And you heard the other ones previously. So yeah, there I am. Thank you very much. And now here's the double question, or the tab wall, the double suite, same thing, just for you to think about. First, do we know the Venus things well? Do we know the Venus things well? And secondly, how are Venus things relevant to you? How are the things of Venus relevant to you? Thank you very much. Let me take my break. Okay, welcome to the second part of the video. Once again, my name is Chimaoge. Greetings, let's go. Let's fully state my name. Chimaoge NKWOORIE. Given name, Chimaoge. Forename, Moge. My government name is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibe. Another name for me based upon the history of my lineage is Chimaoge Chijioke Ibenwuku. And another name for me, which is relevant because I use it for music, is NKWOORIE. That is a name relevant to my being. Let's go. Let's pray. Let's all succeed. That's the prayer. Let's go. So, the title of this video, just to remind you what you're watching, is I am currently studying the so-called Virgo and Virgo season, Venus Things Update. I am currently studying the so-called Virgo and Virgo season, Venus Things Update. The purpose of this video is to highlight the central art piece and the idea behind it. See it in the thumbnail, also see it on Patreon, buy it. Let's go into the highlighted art piece. So the highlighted art piece is called We Are in So-Called Virgo Season. We are in so-called Virgo season. This was inspired by many things. Let me give you two. First, a message from my ancestors. I got a message from my ancestors telling me to talk about this and also to study the so-called Virgo and its so-called season. Secondly, the start of the so-called Virgo season. As I record this, we're at the end of the so-called Virgo season, which runs from August 23rd to September 22nd. When it began about a month ago, I was inspired to make this video. Now, let's look at the content of the art itself. First, you can see a written symbol for the so-called Virgo. The written symbol for the so-called Virgo is all over the place in the art piece for obvious reasons. It's on a purple emoji and it looks kind of like an M, but has some extras on it. That's the symbol for Virgo. Keep that in mind. Second, you can see Ani. Ani is a person. He's known as an Onyeka, an expansion person. I'm learning more about him. You can also call him the father of the soil, the father of the stomach, and pain. This is also his season because the being that is commonly referred to as Virgo now is one of his daughters. Anyway, that's important. Now, Oshi, origin, references. Let's look at this. First, let's look at 2 ways I came to know about this knowledge. First, from myself. The self is a part of the being. It can give you knowledge. Myself is the best in the world. It gave me this information. Secondly, my knowledge of the Venus things. Venus things are not properly understood. Most of what is known about Venus things comes through what people now refer to as astrology, which is a misnomer. But anyway, I've studied that extensively as well as other things. So because of that, I came to know this. Anyway, here are 2 ways that you, my audience, could verify this information and go on your own journey of knowledge. First, prayer. Epere. Batgirl, same thing. Go more into that in the future. But anyway, Batgirl. Prayer. I'm sorry, it's pretty cool. It's fun. And her husband is Batman. But anyway, Batman's the Igwe. This is fun. That video is going to be fun. Those videos will be fun when I talk about all that. Anyway. So prayer is not just to look cool to your in-laws. Prayer is important. And prayer is not just shutting your eyes closed so that you can explode. Do not shut your eyes when you pray. That is what they do in hell. Open your eyes and gather, and you will get knowledge. If you want to know more about the time of pain, pray. A lot of people I know are shaking. If they're not shaking, they will be quaking. And they will be removed from this life by the hand of God. Anyway, another way you all can come to know about what I'm talking about is by looking at nature. Lil Kike. Speaking of Okike, let me clarify the point about Ani. The father of the soil is visible in the art piece in the form of 2 what are known as crabs by most people, but they should be properly called, among other things, afar, stomach, the soil. But there are some versions of that category of life that are manifestations of Ani. I highlighted those 2 in red. So there he is. That dovetails with this point. If you look at nature, you can learn about the so-called Virgo and her father. Now, things to do based upon the implications of the ideas and information conveyed by this art piece. First, look at your home and or comfort, same thing. Vast, same thing, very well during this time and during all future times of the so-called Virgo. Because this is a challenge to the home and is a challenge to your comfort. Stay on your toes. Secondly, do not strain to work. Generally speaking, do not do that, but especially during the time of the so-called Virgo, the time of Ani, the time of pain, do not strain to work. If you strain to work, you will always fail. Now, before we return to the spine of the video, bonus piece of information. Play multiple sports that you enjoy. Play multiple sports that you enjoy. Sport is life. Now, back to the spine. Here is the bonus piece of information embedded in the spine of the video. Do not do too many things outside when the weather is cold. Do not do too many things outside when the weather is cold. You will get sick. Now, let's close it out. A reminder of the name of this video. I am currently studying the so-called Virgo and Virgo season, Venus Things Update. I am currently studying the so-called Virgo and Virgo season, Venus Things Update. Once again, let's pray. A motion can be a prayer. There we go. Support the prayer. Now, a restatement of my name, Chimaoge and Kairam. My given name is Chimaoge. My forename is Moge. My government name for both the United States of America and Nigeria is Chimaoge, Chijioke, Ibe. Another name for me based upon the history of my lineages is Chimaoge, Chijioke, Ibenwuku. And one more name for me based upon my being is NKWOORIE, NKWOORIE. I use it to make music. Check out the music. Thank you. Here's the double question, and then I'll leave you before you watch what I previously recorded. First, do we know the Venus things well? Do we know the Venus things well? And secondly, how are the Venus things relevant to you? How are the Venus things relevant to you? God. Hello everyone, just preparing for the video here. That's interesting. Virgo season in African cosmology.
Yes, he's using a Dorilla pillow. How can you tell? Have you heard about Dorilla Ergo? It's the cutting-edge ergonomic pillow that people actually look for.
Welcome back to Girl Boss. I am back. And today, I'm talking about the season of gift, because that's the season that we're in right now. The season of gift occurs from the 20th of February until the fall or autumn equinox, which is on the 20th of March. Gift is essentially the ancestral father of Egyptian
Oh no, it's not the one I'm talking about. Lord have mercy.
the god of the earth.
What are these people doing?
Support of the world. For those of you interested in tarot, he's represented in the tarot deck by the entire suit of pentacles or coins, because that is the suit that represents everything material and physical. Our Kemetic ancestors refer to him as the custodian of the land. Geb is the male counterpart to the goddess. So he's essentially the brother/husband of the sky goddess. He's part of the second generation of the Ennead of Heliopolis in the Kemetic story of creation. In Egyptian depictions of Geb, he's often laying underneath Nut, the sky goddess, just as the earth is positioned underneath the sky. A lot of the deities within this family of gods is depicted often with the head of an animal, but Geb was always depicted in a form that reflected man entirely, with a goose positioned on top of his head. The goose was also the hieroglyph of his name inside the temples of Kemet. Geb was often associated with royalty. Pharaohs often claimed to be descendants of Geb, and the royal throne was often referred to as the throne of Geb. To put it in more mainstream terms, Geb season is essentially
Oh, this is one for later. Wrong Virgo. Different language, okay. Why is Virgo the most dangerous sign of the zodiac? 7 facts about this hidden danger. Interesting.
Hey, if you live in one of these cities right here, why don't you own an apartment?
Ooh, this one's a Republican.
Have you ever wondered why some people seem so harmless on the outside, but carry within them a devastating potential that few can see? There is a sign in the zodiac that perfectly masters this art of disguise, this ability to hide its true power under a facade of simplicity and modesty. Virgo is not just another sign, it is a silent force, an energy that works in the shadows, analyzing, calculating, and waiting for the perfect moment to reveal its true potential. Today, I'm going to reveal what few astrologers have the courage to say openly, why Virgo can be considered the most dangerous sign of the zodiac when it awakens its deepest nature. What we discovered goes far beyond the superficial descriptions you're used to hearing. The truth about this sign is so surprising that it will completely change your perception of people born under the influence of Virgo. Are you prepared to see beyond the mask of perfection and organization that this sign presents to the world? What I'm about to reveal isn't a simple list of zodiac traits. It's a deep dive into the occult psychology of Virgo, an analysis of the 7 most dangerous faces of this sign that are rarely discussed in conventional astrological texts. This is not an empty criticism, but a recognition of the extraordinary power that Virgo carries and that few can truly understand. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why the quietest, most analytical people in the zodiac can be the most lethal when they decide to use their power. You will understand how the Virgo mind works behind the scenes, processing information, identifying weaknesses, and creating strategies that no one else can foresee. The unique combination of analytical intelligence and single-minded perfectionism makes Virgo capable of executing plans with a surgical precision that would leave even Scorpio impressed. But what makes someone truly dangerous isn't just their destructive capacity, it's their ability to do so without anyone noticing until it's too late. Have you ever noticed how Virgo people can observe and absorb everything around them while revealing so little about themselves? The first characteristic that makes Virgo truly dangerous is their relentless and detail-oriented memory. While other signs may forget past offenses or ignore small slips, the Virgo mind registers absolutely everything. Every mistake you've made, every contradiction in your words, every little character flaw, it's all archived with frightening precision in your mental database. They may not mention anything for months or years, leaving you to believe that the slip-up has been completely forgotten. But don't be fooled. Virgo never forgets. It's just waiting for the most strategic moment to use that information. Those born under this sign have the unique ability to connect seemingly disconnected events, creating a complete mental map of their weaknesses and vulnerabilities. When they finally decide to act, they use this information with surgical precision, knowing exactly where and how to reach to make maximum impact. This photographic memory for details is amplified by the rulership of Mercury, the planet of communication and analysis, which endows Virgo with razor-sharp verbal articulation when it finally decides to use its arsenal of accumulated observations. The danger lies not just in what they know about you, but in the calculating patience with which they wait for the perfect moment to reveal this knowledge. Have you ever noticed how a Virgo can remember details of conversations that you don't even remember having? The second dangerous face of Virgo lies in its capacity for cold and relentless analysis. Ruled by Mercury, this sign has a mind that works like a supercomputer, processing information and identifying patterns that completely escape other people. While emotional signs, such as Cancer or Pisces, can be influenced by feelings when making decisions, Virgo maintains a calculated emotional distance that allows them to see reality exactly as it is, without filters or illusions. This analytical clarity becomes truly dangerous when combined with your observant nature. Virgos spend much of their time in silence, observing, absorbing information, mapping behaviors and identifying vulnerabilities, not just their own, but those of entire systems. When they decide to act, they already know all the weaknesses, all the structural flaws, all the possible paths and their consequences. It's like playing chess with someone who has already planned 10 moves ahead and predicted each of your possible responses. The danger is not in impulsiveness, but in meticulous deliberation. An Aries may be feared for his sudden outburst, but Virgo is feared for the calculated coolness with which he carries out long-laid plans. Have you ever noticed how Virgo people are rarely caught by surprise? This happens because they have already considered practically all the possibilities before you even think about them. The third aspect that makes Virgo potentially the most dangerous sign is its capacity for silent and almost imperceptible.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
Manipulation. Unlike signs like Gemini or Leo, who can be more overt in their attempts to influence others, Virgo operates in the shadows, using subtle techniques that are rarely detected. His helpful and seemingly selfless nature serves as perfect camouflage. They strategically position themselves as the indispensable helpers, those who are simply there to help without any apparent self-interest. This position gives them access to privileged information and a silent influence that few realize. A skilled Virgo can completely redirect the course of events simply by filtering what information reaches whom, at what time, and with what framing. They rearrange the environment around you so gradually and subtly that you don't even realize you're being led exactly where they planned. True power is not in giving direct orders, but in making others believe that the ideas were theirs in the first place. Have you ever found yourself following suggestions from a Virgo without even remembering how that idea initially came about? The fourth characteristic that makes Virgo a potentially dangerous sign is its relentless perfectionism when directed against someone. Most people know Virgo perfectionism as something they apply primarily to themselves, an internal demand for excellence. What few understand is how that same energy can be turned outward when a Virgo decides that someone deserves to be fixed. In these moments, nothing goes unnoticed. Every flaw, every inconsistency, every slip is meticulously catalogued and exposed with surgical precision. The ability to identify exactly where the imperfections lie, combined with their sharp verbal articulation, turns Virgo into a devastating critic. They don't attack with explicit emotion or anger, which would make it easy to dismiss their criticism as emotional exaggeration. Instead, they present irrefutable facts, logical analysis, and concrete examples, completely dismantling their opponent with the force of indisputable truth. This ability to deconstruct someone using only precise observations and factual analysis is particularly dangerous because it leaves little room for defense. How can you argue against someone who is technically just pointing out facts? Have you ever felt the weight of being analyzed by a Virgo who decided to expose all of his inconsistencies? The fifth element that makes Virgo potentially the most dangerous sign in the zodiac is their almost superhuman strategic patience. While signs like Aries or Sagittarius can react impulsively to provocations, Virgo has the rare ability to withstand insults, injustices, and even direct attacks without showing an immediate reaction. This restraint does not mean passivity. It is calculated waiting. Virgo intuitively understands that the most effective revenge is not the quickest, but the most meticulously planned. They may wait months or years for the perfect moment, that moment when the person who wronged them will be most vulnerable, or when the impact of their response will be maximized. During all this time, they continue to behave normally, sometimes even in a friendly manner, without giving the slightest indication that something is being plotted. This ability to compartmentalize emotionally, to keep complex plans underway while presenting themselves with complete normality to the outside world, is what makes their eventual action so devastating. It comes when no one else is expecting it, when defenses have long since dropped. Can you imagine the destructive power of someone who can plan perfectly while everyone around them doesn't even suspect their true intentions? The sixth characteristic that makes Virgo a dangerously powerful sign is its ability to precisely identify the weak points in any system, organization, or person. Ruled by Mercury and representing the energy of analysis and discrimination, Virgo has a natural talent for seeing flaws that others simply cannot. While most people only see the functional surface of things, the Virgo look goes deeper, identifying misaligned gears, inefficient procedures, inconsistent arguments, or self-destructive behaviors. This skill, when applied constructively, makes Virgo an extraordinary problem solver, one who can fix what no one else can. However, when this same capacity is directed with negative intent, it becomes a relentless tool of systematic destruction. A Virgo who has decided to sabotage a system does not attack randomly. He precisely identifies the point of critical failure, that small element whose dysfunction will cause the collapse of the entire structure. It's like the architect who, knowing perfectly each pillar of the building, knows exactly which one to remove to cause a collapse that will appear accidental to the untrained eye. Have you noticed how Virgos can identify exactly where the problem is in situations that seem chaotic to everyone else? Virgo's seventh and perhaps most dangerous quality is its capacity for controlled self-transformation. While signs like Scorpio are known for their intense and often turbulent transformations, Virgo possesses the rare ability to completely recalibrate their approach, methods, and even apparent personality without ever losing their center or ultimate goal. This tactical flexibility combined with strategic firmness makes the Virgos particularly formidable adversaries. When they realize that one approach isn't working, they don't stubbornly insist on the same path. They step back, analyze, adjust, and come back with a completely different approach that you didn't even see coming. This conscious and calculated ability to adapt means that strategies that have worked against them in the past are unlikely to work a second time. They constantly learn, evolve, and improve themselves, always keeping their true plans and intentions hidden until the exact moment to reveal them. While many signs telegraph their intentions through predictable behavior,